own treasuries. Take money from one pocket, print it, put it in this pocket. Now, why would you do that? Because nobody's buying these treasuries at a fast enough clip because we're spending too much. This is like investing in a company that sells pet rocks today, not in the 70s, but today. Nobody's buying pet rocks. So the rock people decide to buy their own pet rocks so they can invest in pet rocks. It's not going to work. How you feeling about your investment with the pet rock people? Okay. Then treasuries. When things get really dicey like they did in the 70s with Jimmy Carter, that's when people say, you know what, I don't know if the federal government can do it. I'm going here. You're in the door frame because there's an earthquake. Now, this is the traditional point of insanity. And that's where we're going. And we're here because, well, gold prices are climbing. It's over $1,200 an ounce today because people don't trust any of these things. That's the problem. Now, look, it started with Bush and Obama. Obama's putting his foot on the pedal and doing even more. At least $4.4 trillion have added to the 10-year spending baseline in the last 31 months. 4.4 trillion. When Bush left office in January 2009, the national debt was 10.6 trillion. Here we are, 18, 20 months later? We're $5 trillion in the Bush administration, raising it up over 8 years. The biggest increase under any president, and now Obama is on pace to smash that record. Under Obama, in the first, 20 months, the debt is currently $13.4 trillion. And they keep turning a blind eye to all of our problems, like Social Security, as if everything is okay. It's not okay. It wasn't okay when Ronald Reagan talked about it the year I was born, 1964.
We're for a provision that destitution should not follow unemployment by reason of old age. And to that end, we've accepted Social Security as a step toward meeting the problem. But we're against those entrusted with this program when they practice deception regarding its fiscal shortcomings, when they charge that any criticism of the program means that we want to end payments to those people who depend on them for a livelihood. The actuarial head appeared before a congressional committee and admitted that Social Security as of this moment is $298 billion in the hole. But he said there should be no cause for worry, because as long as they had the power to tax, they could always take away from the people whatever they needed to bail them out of trouble. And they're doing just that.
Okay. FDR, he saw the problems. When he saw the first drafts of Social Security before the self-financing tax idea, he said, quote, it's almost dishonest to build up an accumulated deficit for the Congress of the United States to meet 1980. We cannot sell the United States short in 1980 any more than 1935. Well, we have sold the United States short, way short. And that's why gold is on the rise. Now look at these numbers, because this is important for you to understand. In 1980, the price of gold was $873 per ounce. Okay? Today, it's $1,246. So this looks like it's the highest ever, but it's not, because of inflation. Inflation, this price, if it was in today's dollars, would actually be $2,287. So we have a long way to go. So if things are this bad, what is suppressing this number? Why isn't gold today here? Well, there's two answers. It's not as bad as I tell you it is, or in the 1980s, they came up with another idea. Yeah, the Treasury learned their lesson. You see, they were spending too much and realized that people, remember, because gold all of a sudden just skyrocketed. When things got ugly, they realized people were running to that doorframe and using gold. So they came up with something called Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Gold is the hedge against inflation. Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. They're called TIPS. Anybody who's buying Treasury right now, they are buying TIPS. But the problem with this is, if I'm buying these bonds, these treasuries, and they're going to pay me on the investment, plus they're going to pay me for any inflation, if they're, by the government spending so much and buying their own money and printing money to buy their own debt, it's going to cause inflation. So it causes inflation, and then what happens? They have to pay these people back who are in treasuries with more money that they'll have to print and borrow, which will just accelerate the pace. You see, you can't do that. But the government did this so it would keep you out of control of your own wealth and keep you from panicking.